Making headlines. First Lady emphasizes the significance of broadening the understanding of STEM education in the fields of science, technology, engineering and mathematics in order to enhance the progress of the nation. Chief spokesperson at President's Office states that efforts are underway to complete the administrative preparations for introducing new laws and amendments to the Parliament, with the government achieving a supermajority in the Parliament. And Minister of Foreign Affairs departs on an official visit to Saudi Arabia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Mariam Shawshat. First Lady Sajida Muhammad emphasizes the significance of broadening the understanding of STEM education in the fields of science, technology, engineering and mathematics in order to enhance the progress of the nation. The remarks were made during the graduation ceremony of the students who completed their studies in the fields of law and nursing in the Maldives National University, MNU. Speaking at the ceremony, First Lady Sajida highlighted that individuals with STEM education play a pivotal role to strengthen and bolster the economic growth of the country. She also revealed that individuals pursuing education in the medical field and the technological field significantly contribute to the advancements within the fields related to STEM education. She urged MNU to expand education opportunities to seek STEM education. Additionally, she further encouraged students to assist other individuals in finding opportunities to support them in achieving their goals as well. The certificates of students who graduated with their Bachelor of Nursing and Sharia and Law degrees and Master's degrees were given by the Chancellor of MNU, Dr. Mahmood Shawgi. Following the conferring of certificates, Dr. Shawgi advised the graduates to always continue learning and advancing in the respective fields. Furthermore, students who accomplished awards in the course were presented with a specialized award by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu during this ceremony. Chief spokesperson at the President's Office, Hina Walid, states that efforts are underway to complete the administrative preparations for introducing new laws and amendments to the Parliament, with the government achieving a supermajority in the parliamentary elections. He now stated there are several crucial laws to be presented to Parliament under the government's Week 14 legislative agenda. As such, laws relating to housing, the criminal justice system, social security are to be submitted. He now affirmed that the laws and amendments which have been stalled in the committee phase will be given a top priority to be implemented by the end of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's tenure. Furthermore, he now revealed that over 200 laws are to be implemented, aiming to fulfill President Dr. Muizzu's commitment outlined in the government's manifesto. She assured that the elective parliament will play a significant role as their views align with that of the president. Observing that the government attained a supermajority during the parliamentary elections was due to the unwavering trust in President Dr. Muizzu, he now affirmed that this advantage will not be exploited. She guaranteed that the supermajority will assist the government in implementing and enforcing policies that will benefit the public as per the respective policies. Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir departs on an official visit to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Minister Zamir revealed that he will be attending a World Economic Forum special meeting on global collaboration, growth and energy development. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that during the conference, the minister will participate in various activities aimed at strengthening global ties while holding discussions with other foreign ministers and representatives of international organizations and businesses. The World Economic Forum and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are in a joint collaboration to host the significant conference. The gathering of more than 700 global leaders and representatives serves as a platform for discussing long-term solutions to major issues currently occurring. Minister of Defence Mohammad Ghassan Mamoon states that President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu is exerting maximum effort to provide military personnel the opportunity to seek higher education in various fields through scholarships. The remarks were made while speaking at the oath-taking ceremony of the soldiers participating in the 70th Fundamental Training Course of Maldives National Defence Force (MNDF). Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Ghassan stated that this initiative of President Dr. Muizzu aims to secure the future of individuals joining to serve the military. The minister disclosed that efforts are underway to expand and strengthen the military while catering to the individual needs of the soldiers. Moreover, he affirmed that the President has implemented measures to ensure that individuals who have served in the military for an extended period will not encounter any housing issues as they will have their own accommodation. MNDF's Fundamental Training Course is a special program for fresh soldiers, enabling them to acquire and enhance their skills such that they can excel in any field. Minister of Finance Dr. Mohammad Shafiq engaged in crucial discussions regarding financial assistance and strengthening the financial system of the nation. The discussion was held during his visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to participate in the annual meeting of the Islamic Development Bank. During the official visit, Minister Dr. Shafiq, accompanied by the Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Said, held important discussions with several officials of various financial administrations. This includes the OPEC Fund, Saudi Development Fund and the Islamic Development Bank. The meeting held with the Acting Director General of the Islamic Development Bank was regarding on measures to enhance and advance the field of Islamic finance. The meeting shed light on the significance of developing human resources and youth cooperation, which are vital for development. Meanwhile, the discussions held with the President of the OPEC Fund for the International highlighted the successful projects completed with the assistance of the fund and discussed areas of development which required financial support. Additionally, government officials held meetings with the Chief Executive Officer of Saudi Fund for Development, in which information was provided between the two parties regarding the projects ongoing with the assistance of the fund. While efforts are underway to strengthen financial relationships with other financial administrations, the government has formulated plans for several developmental projects. This includes developing international airports, urban centers and other projects to bolster economic growth. With the efforts exerted to expand the economy, the government is also striving to increase investments in various sectors. Minister of Finance Dr. Mohammad Shafiq reveals that a reforming program will commence in the near future, aiming to reform or take measures to modify state-owned enterprises (SOEs). In an interview with PSMNEWS, Minister Dr. Shafiq emphasized the significance of enhancing the management of SOEs, as it has been observed that they are not operating at the highest level of efficiency. The minister recognized the demands of the citizens, which align with the government's views to reform companies such that it is beneficial to all parties. Noting that the bill proposed by the Ministry of Finance to the Parliament regarding the reformation of SOEs has been approved, he unveiled that all the necessary preparations and research to launch the program has been completed. Additionally, Minister Dr. Shafiq disclosed that efforts are underway to prepare a reform program aimed to strengthening government policies when providing subsidies. Observing that the current Asanda involved unnecessary expenses, the minister highlighted the ongoing efforts in seeking a sustainable solution to this issue. Furthermore, Minister Dr. Shafiq stressed the importance of utilizing the government revenue beneficially such that expenses are reduced. Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Said holds discussions with the Director General of Zakat House of Kuwait, Dr. Majid Sulaimani Al-Azimi, aiming to develop the Maldives Zakat House. The meeting was held during the annual meeting with the Islamic Development Bank Group in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Minister Dr. Shahim revealed that several significant topics were covered during the discussion. This encompasses discussions pertaining to the development of the Zakat House, employee training and Sharia standards to identify individuals who are to receive the Zakat collected. The Maldives Zakat House, established on December 18, 2023, was officially inaugurated by President Dr. Muhammad Muizzu on January 2nd. The initiative aims to increase awareness regarding zakat while targeting to provide a mechanism for accepting and dispersing zakat, announce the nisab for zakat al-mal or zakat on wealth twice a year, and regularly update the National Registry of Individuals below the poverty line. Chief Justice of the Maldives, Ahmad Motasim Adnan, inaugurates the Integrated Court Management System (ICMS) in a special ceremony held at Meerma Hotel. The ICMS is a network interconnecting the administrations in the judiciary and all courts in the nation. Department of Judicial Administration (DJA) revealed that the ICMS system would serve as a major convenience as it can be accessed by all parties. While individuals can check the status of their respective cases, the system allows each case registration, appointment of judges, case scheduling, court order preparation and sentencing along with other services. Speaking at the ceremony, Chief Administrator of DJA, Aishat Rizna, stated that the introduction of ICMS would assist in minimizing the backlog of cases while strengthening the running of the court. Additionally, DJA disclosed that ICMS was designed with the assistance of the British High Commission in the Maldives and United Nations Development Programme (UNDP). ExxonMobil and Chevron both report a dip in profits Friday on lower refining margins and natural gas prices, but ExxonMobil's big takeover appears on track to close before Chevron's.
ExxonMobil, which had targeted the second quarter to complete a $60 billion takeover of U.S. shale player Pioneer Natural Resources, reported profits of $8.2 billion, down 28% from the year-ago period. Similar results from Chevron showed how the petroleum sector, while off its peak, remains highly profitable, enabling billions of dollars in shareholder payouts. While commodity prices for liquid hydrocarbons rose slightly and ExxonMobil continued to score impressive volumes, those benefits were more than offset by a 32% drop in natural gas prices. The company's energy products business also experienced a big drop in earnings on weaker refining profit margins despite reporting record first quarter refining throughout. Revenues dipped 4% to $83.1 billion. In a conference call with analysts, ExxonMobil Chief Director Darren Woods expressed confidence in closing the Pioneer transaction in the second quarter, describing constructive work with U.S. regulators reviving the deal for competitiveness concerns. Rival oil giant Chevron reported profits of $5.6 billion, down 16% on revenues of $48.7, down 4%. The earnings fall was due to lower refinery margins and natural gas prices, partly offset by increased production in the United States, Chevron said. While ExxonMobil's Pioneer deal appears on the cusp of closing, Chevron's proposed $53 billion takeover of Hess hit a speed bump following a challenge from ExxonMobil. At issue is Hess's 30% stake in the Starbrook block, a mammoth oil field that was a driver of the Chevron's takeover.
Hamas says it's examining the latest Israeli suggestion for a ceasefire in Gaza 7 months into the conflict that has claimed tens of thousands of lives and that Israeli leaders have said could soon intensify further if a deal between the two sides is not reached.
International efforts are continuing to try to firm up areas of agreement, with mediators led by Egypt at the heart of efforts to encourage both sides to end the violence. A senior Hamas official told NPR that the militant group would respond to Israel's latest proposed conditions once it had examined them in full, but was still studying them, and there was no scheduled timing for their response. He did not offer specifics about Israel's proposals, but said it followed conditions Hamas had laid down earlier this month, which focused on an exchange involving Israeli captives held in Gaza for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners in Israel, as well as a 6-week cessation of hostilities. An Egyptian delegation left Israel on Friday, an official told AP, after holding discussions over the possibility of a multi-phase and lengthy Gaza ceasefire. The plan would allow civilians currently in the south of the territory to return to their homes further north and might eventually lead to a more permanent agreement that ends the fighting altogether. A major U.S. concern shared by its international partners is that the Israeli military will launch a full-scale assault on Gaza's southernmost city, Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians have sought shelter after fleeing the widespread fighting elsewhere in the Gaza Strip. Israel has argued that the further ground-based military action in Rafah is necessary for it to destroy remaining groups of Hamas fighters, but several countries, including neighboring Egypt, have said that any such offensive by the Israelis would have been more severe consequences for civilians and could further destabilize the border region. Nonetheless, Israeli forces have marched around the city, where airstrikes continue to take place daily. On Saturday, one airstrike in the city killed 4 children, according to local health officials. Hamas has repeatedly said it will not enter into a new agreement unless it contains a provision for permanent truce. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has begun construction of an offshore loading platform to help deliver more aid to Gaza, with plans for trucks to be ferried from that platform to a temporary pier on the Gaza coastline, as part of a large-scale operation that could begin within weeks. An official from the World Economic Forum said senior leaders, including Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, will meet in the Saudi Arabian capital of Riyadh next week. The Prime Minister of Qatar, another nation at the center of Gaza ceasefire negotiations, will attend, alongside the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and as well as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He will travel there after an expected Tuesday visit to Israel, as the State Department is reviewing whether to suspend aid for an Israeli military unit that it found had committed serious human rights violations against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Meanwhile, China will also host senior leaders from Abbas Fatah Party and Hamas next week for further talks, designed to help heal a long-running political dispute between the two factions that had until October 7 ruled respectively over Gaza and the West Bank. The U.S. government does not publicly support any such reconciliation, given that it considers Hamas a terrorist group, but recognizes the legitimacy of Fatah and its leadership of the Palestinian Authority that exercises limited self-rule in the occupied West Bank.
The Olympic flame begins its journey to France on board the Bellum, leaving the Greek port of Piraeus after spending the night at the French embassy in Athens.
Before the departure of the ship, Paris Olympics chief organizer Tony Estanguet expresses delight over the trip. He praised the great coincidence of how the Bellum was launched just weeks after the first modern Olympic Games were held in Athens in 1896. The 19th century three-masted boat was escorted off the port of Piraeus by the trireme Olympias of the Greek Navy and 25 sailing boats, while dozens of people watched behind railings for security reasons. On Sunday, the ship will pass through the Corinth Canal, a feat of 19th century engineering constructed with the contribution of French banks and engineers. The Bellum is scheduled to reach Marseille, where a Greek colony was founded around 600 BC on May 8. Greece on Friday handed over the Olympic flame for the 2024 Games at a ceremony to Estanguet. Hellenic Olympic Committee Chairman Spiros Kaprilos handed the torch to Estanguet at the Panathenaic Stadium, where the Olympics were held in 1896. Estanguet stated that the goal for Paris was to organize spectacular but also more responsible games which will contribute toward a more inclusive society. Organizers aim to ensure the biggest event in the world plays an accelerating role in addressing crucial questions of our time, said Estanguet, a member of France's Athens 2004 Olympics team who won gold in the slalom canoe event. A duo of French champions Beijing 2022 ice dance gold medalist Gabriela Papadakis and former swimmer Beatrice Hess, one of the most successful Paralympians in history, carried the flame during the final relay leg into the Panathenaic Stadium. Nana Mouskouri, the 89-year-old Greek singer with a worldwide following, sang the French and Greek anthems at the ceremony.
For decades, the Tangier home of Abdullah Al Gord has been a wellspring of the Gunawa musical tradition and a place of pilgrimage for jazz performers, but it has fallen into deep disrepair.
For more than half a century, a Murid-style house in the old city of Tangier, considered one of Morocco's cultural gems, drew musicians and other artists from around the world seeking to learn about the Sufi music and rituals of the descendants of slaves in the country. But the one-of-a-kind center for traditional Gnewa music was abandoned early this year because it was in danger of collapse and long delays to restore it as part of a government rehabilitation plan for the city on Morocco's northern coast put its future in peril. The battle to save Der Gnewa or the Gnewa House has shed light on just how precious traditional talents are in the North African kingdom. Abdullah Al Gord, 75 and a world-renowned master of Gnewa music, has lived in the historic house since he was 5. Over the past decades, he hosted and collaborated with an array of acclaimed jazz musicians from around the globe. Gnewa music is a tradition that originated with enslaved West Africans who were taken north to Morocco. It is among the rituals they held on to, praising saints and spirits with rhythmic song, dance and transpossession. The instruments involved are few and simple: a 3-string fretless lute known as the gimbri or cynthia, which is strummed, accompanied by large metal castanets called karakub, whose clacking create trance-inducing rhythms. The music is sometimes played during all-night healing ceremonies where exorcisms are performed on the sick to expel the jinn or evil spirits believed to cause illnesses. The laid-back town of Essaouira on Morocco's Atlantic coast hosts an annual Gnewa festival which has been attended in the past years by notable international musicians such as Ziggy Marley. In 2019, UNESCO added Gnewa to its Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list. In 1980, the Gnewa House became the first officially recognized center devoted to celebrating and preserving the genre. But long before that, it served as a meeting place for artists starting in the 1960s. Unlike other Moroccan cities, Tangier did not have many cultural centers for young artists, so Mr. Al Gord took it upon himself to create a space that he hoped would ensure his art form would not disappear. Over the years, the house became one of the few places in the country to practice and learn Gnewa music. Born into a family of Gnewa practitioners, Mr. Al Gord is now fighting not only for his house, but for his legacy. In 1967, he met the esteemed American pianist Randy Weston, who lived in Tangier for a couple of decades. Mr. Weston's music and scholarship advanced the idea, now broadly accepted, that jazz at its core, African music. For years, Mr. Weston played with Mr. Al Gord in the Gnewa House in Tangier before they toured the world together. They collaborated on multiple recordings, including the 1992 Grammy-nominated Gnewa Musicians of Morocco. Over the years, Mr. Al Gord met and performed with many other acclaimed jazz musicians as well, including Dexter Gordon, Odetta, and Billy Harper. The Gnewa House is a mixture of architectural genres, a reflection of Tangier's rich international history, into a small chamber that leads to an interior courtyard. An Italian marble stairwell is tiled in the Moroccan mosaic style known as zelige, while the rest of the house features Spanish and Portuguese tiles and Italian doors.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good day. Goodbye.